Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here, and today Dead by Daylight put out some information about the new matchmaking system. If you're unfamiliar with how the new matchmaking works, basically players are no longer put into matches based on their ranks. Instead, they're matched by their skill level, so ranks are right out the window. To take that a step further, you may have noticed that when playing Killer, when you start to look for a match, you are unable to change which killer you're playing. This is because you are being matched against survivors based on your proficiency with that particular killer. So that's why your killer selection is locked in when you hit the ready to search for match. Okay, so let's see here. They put out this tweet today that says, "We've prepared a written Q&A on the forums about the new matchmaking system. So click here, and when we click that link, it takes us over to the Dead by Daylight official forums where they have this blog post prepared by Pat that says community questions on the skill rating matchmaking. We've selected a few questions from the community about the new matchmaking system and had them answered by the team. Question: I know you're looking at skill across different killers, but are you looking at skill across different survivors too? Even though survivors are just skins, we still have to grind for the open perk slots, which for a less experienced survivor like myself, that's a big deal." Answered: generally speaking, the performance difference between a low-level survivor, as in their character level is low, and a high-level survivor for a given player isn't statistically extreme. It also changes very quickly, relatively speaking. It doesn't take that many games for a low-level survivor to get to a reasonable level. To complicate it further, it can even happen over 0 games, if you got the blood points from some other means. All that said, we're going to keep an eye on this and see if it plays out differently in reality, and potentially modify the system to take this into account. Question: can we get a little insight into how Survive with Friends matchups will be balanced in the new system? Currently, Survive with Friends groups will calculate an average rating of the players in the group, and then the matchmaking system will attempt to find an opponent based off that average. We'll be monitoring this and the results it gives in the real world, and may tweak the formula to produce better results if we identify any problems. How is it going to be fair to those that are new as a survivor? I feel bad for them. We're specifically monitoring the experience of new players to ensure the system doesn't immediately throw them games where they are hopelessly outmatched, and we have a few techniques that we're implementing already to help with this. Lots of technical and mathematical details, but the basic effect will be that the new players tend to get matched at a lower skill rating while they're still new. So after reading this post, why aren't the current ranks not weighted in the starting skill rating for the player base? We've already been running the skill rating calculation in the background for several months in order to collect data and validate some elements of our approach. Anyone who has been playing regularly in that time will have a loosely calibrated skill rating to start with, which will be refined with each game they play now that the system is live. Is it taken into consideration if players have returned from the game after a long hiatus? Some examples are some people returning after a year or even 2. Without getting into extreme mathematical details, yes, the system does take how long it has been since you last played into account with the rating system. Why are ranks so mismatched now? The matchmaking news post we made went into detail about this, but to summarize, ranks are mostly a measure of how much you play in a given month and doesn't give a very good correlation with game skill. Skill rating is completely driven by how skilled you are at the game, so there will be some divergence between the two. The rank system will be getting updated soon, TM, to reflect this difference. Why are we keeping the skill rating hidden? For every player who gets really excited at the prospect of seeing their skill rating, there's another player who dreads it. For now, to encourage everyone to play the game the best they can, we're keeping the skill rating hidden. We have plans to expose it somewhat in the future, but nothing to announce at this time. Interesting. What will it mean to ranks in the tally screen? Right now, the emblem system, rank system, is being left as is. We wanted to get the skill rating system out and in players' hands as quickly as possible. The rank system will be getting updated soon. PM. Trademark. Is the rating started counting now or already set from past performance? Ratings are initially based on your performance over the past few months, while the system has been collecting data in the background. What are the factors that affect the ratings? Ratings change based on how you perform in a match while taking your opponent's rating into account. If you outplay an opponent who has a much higher rating than yours, then your rating will be adjusted quite a bit. If you outplay an opponent who had a lower rating than yours, then the adjustment is quite small. Other. Okay, a couple points about what they said here and my own personal experience regarding the new matchmaking. This part that says about what will it mean for ranks in the tally screen. I really believe they should simply remove the visibility of a player's rank to the other players in the game. It will help prevent all this finger pointing in the post-game chat. What are these ranks? What is this matchmaking? Because there are going to be those people out there who will still believe that the game is matched on ranks, and they have told us now that ranks have no bearing whatsoever on the matchmaking, so they should just get rid of it. Keep the ranking for yourself so you can see what rank you are and still go for these achievements to get to rank 1, etc., but just make it so that other players can't see it since it has no bearing on the matchmaking. Now, my own experience with the matchmaking has been fairly good. I would say that when I played Killer, I went on this up and down roller coaster where I would have 4 survivors escape from me, and then the next match I would get a 4K. Then I would have 4 survivors escape from me, and then the next match I would get a 4K. And it went back and forth like that, where I could only assume that because I got trounced and 4 survivors escaped, that my matchmaking rating went down very far. And then in the next game where I got a 4K, it went back up. So then I got another group of 4 survivors that drove it down again, and we went up and down like this. So I think there is going to be this evening out process. Now, this part where it talks about the survive with friends, I personally wouldn't be opposed if there was a multiplier of that average matchmaking rating for survive with friends, if it was like, say, a 1.2% multiplier on the rating, simply because the survive with friends seems to have an advantage based on as opposed to 4 random players playing together. I know that statistically Dead by Daylight says that survive with friends doesn't have a significant impact on the outcome of matches based on how many people are playing survive with friends. I don't know what to tell you. I feel like I have an advantage if I'm playing with survive with friends, and if it were to edge my matchmaking rating up a bit because of that, I would be okay with that, and frankly I would think that would be fair. Now, I will say that the most egregious example of this system not working yesterday was I was in Survive with Friends with I hate to say red rank players, but because we're not supposed to pay attention to ranks anymore, but it was 4 red rank players, and we went against a rank 16 Legion with 1 perk. Now, it could be that they haven't played in some time, and I know they don't play Legion because they only have 1 perk at tier 1. So, in theory, this should have been a killer that they never play, and they should have gotten a softer match because of that, and it didn't play out that way. It was the fastest game of the night. I never saw the killer until I was at the gate. It was over and done with so fast. So that would be an outlier example of when the system didn't work. Now, having said that, I don't know how many games this player has played since they're ranked 16. So it could be that they haven't played the game in a while, and they hadn't built up that background of a matchmaking rating, and they were overrated. I don't know what to tell you there, but that was the one concrete example of an outlier that I thought, wow, the system didn't work the way it was supposed to in this case. Now, is it going to be perfect? No, but I think, we all need to give it some time to collect data, and most of my matches were okay, honestly. I got trounced by, some rank 12s that knew what they were doing and things like that. And again, I hate to keep going back to this rank and saying, because I'm not supposed to pay attention to the rank. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to look at the perks that the killer is bringing and what level they are to judge how much experience they have playing that killer. Because if they have all their perks at tier 3, then that would mean they have played that killer quite a bit, or at least they put a bunch of blood points into that person, right? So I'm judging it by the perks that they have and the tiers that their perks are, the perk slots that they have, on how much experience they have, because I'm being told that I'm not supposed to pay attention to rank, even though everybody's eye wants to go there. So I thought it was fine yesterday, except for a couple of outlier examples. I thought that the system worked well for me yesterday. I know there are some people out there who didn't have the same experience, but I'll just say, hey, it's only been out for a couple of days. Let's just keep playing, give it some time, and reevaluate. And if it isn't working, I'm sure that Dead by Daylight will look at it and figure out what they need to do to tweak it. Anyway, that's what I have for you today regarding this new matchmaking system. Take care of each other out there in the fog and outside of the fog, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.